Hey everybody, it's Rob the Backyard Gardener, and it's been over 2.5 months since my last update on my mango tree that I'm growing from seed. You'll recall in the last update, he had just barely hit 9 months, and I said I'd wait a couple of months to update him because he had that winter frost damage. It took him several months to recover, and I didn't want to give an update until I saw some progress again. And so here he is, almost at 1 year, 2 weeks away from a year old. Let's get you updated. So here he is, growing every single week now. You'll recall in the last update, he was in a smaller pot. So about a month after the last update, when I saw him recovering well, I did get him into a bigger pot since he's gonna be out here in the Texas heat where it gets 100 degrees quite often. And I thought, you know what? I'd rather subject him to a little bit of transplant shock now that he's healthy, into a bigger pot that can absorb some of the heat that's out here so I don't bake his roots and inhibit some future growth. So I did that about a month ago, and it did slow down his growth. It took him about 2 to 3 weeks to start putting on more size, but he did grow about 6 to 8 inches since the last update. So he's definitely getting a lot taller. You'll recall if you refer back to the last video, and I'll put a link up here for you guys to check it out in case you're new to my channel or missed that episode, but he only had 3 sets of leaves on the last one. 1, 2, 3. So he was right about here as far as height on the last episode, and he has added all this new growth. So about 6 inches, and he's just now starting to put on another set of growth right here. So I would expect over the next 3 or 4 months that he's finally gonna start taking off again. I'll tell you, he had those few extra nodes on that last video, and they started to come out just about like this when I transplanted them, and they stayed in that state for literally 4 to 5 weeks. And I thought, I knew he was gonna go through some shock, but I didn't know if he was going to recover as fast as I thought. Well, once he put on that growth, boom, a set grew in within a couple of weeks, and boom, another set's coming in. So he's definitely doing well. I'm pretty happy. Obviously, he's approaching a year. Mango trees should be about 3 to 4 feet at this point, but because of that frost damage, chopping off the top foot, dropping all his leaves, transplant shock, you name it, he struggled. Now this guy sits in my yard in a pot, but he sits in relative shade. And what I mean by that is he does get patches of sunlight, but this direct sunlight that he's in now for filming, it would be the most sunlight he's gotten directly over any period of time over the last several months. Partly because I was afraid of warming the smaller pot, partly because of the damage he had gone through from the freeze, and partly because he's still a young plant. That being said, 100-degree temperatures with dry heat out here is not the best thing for him. I just want to get this video filmed and show you how he's doing. He's growing well. Growing really well. I'm pretty happy with him. Obviously, I wish I didn't have the setback that we did, but now that we've passed the setback, he's starting to grow on size pretty quickly. And it's really cool because these smaller shoots that you see here, they'll come in, they'll turn burgundy or purplish color. Then once they open up, they literally lay flat. They're like really fragile leaves. And then once they mature, they stand up erect like this, and they look a lot better. A lot of you asked me to update this series more often. The reason why I haven't is at this point, right now, we're not in any other process besides putting on size and girth. And his trunk is just now starting to get that wood effect to it because he's just starting to mature a little bit now that he's going on a year. I'll tell you, I really thought we were gonna get some side shooting other than this one that we have, and those ones never really broke any other bud besides what you see. So at this point, I don't want to subject him to any pruning, topping, trimming. I don't want to do anything else more to him. I just want him to focus on getting a better root system established in this bigger pot, continue to put on size and height, and health him up as much as possible, because in about middle of November, he'll go from being an outside plant to being an inside plant. At that point, if he's too tall, if he's over 4 or 5 feet, then I will have to do some kind of topping, and maybe that will promote some lateral side shoots as well. Anyway, hopefully you guys are still enjoying this series. I'll be updating it every couple of months. I will do it more frequently once we get something more happening as far as action. Like if he gets a side shoot coming out of here or he does something different, then I will definitely update it more frequently. But for now, I think once every couple of months should suffice for what you need to see. I think in future episodes too, we'll get a measurement on this guy at the end of this video, and I'll put a clip to it, and then we'll see how much he grows over the next several months. So to make sure I'm measuring correctly, I put the 12-inch mark right at the top of the soil. And if you go all the way to the top of the plant, you can see if I pull this a little taut, he's about 32 inches tall, 31.5 to be exact. So at 31.5 inches minus the 12 inches of the pot, we're sitting right at about 19, call it 19.5, 20 inches. So just under 2 feet. Wanted to give you guys a measurement of him so we can track his progress now that he's gone through the transplant shock, and it seems like he's doing good. We'll get an idea of what he grows from episode to episode. That way we can see the speed growth on this particular plant that has had some shock and has survived. So there you have it, everyone. That's my update on my mango tree grown from seed, almost at 12 months or a year old. We're 2 weeks away from there, but we'll call it 12 months for this episode since the next one probably won't be till about 13 or 14 months old. Hopefully you're enjoying my mango trees grown from seed series. If you are, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. Also, if you're interested in checking out my other Grown from Seed series, I'll have some links to them down below in the video description, or you could check out my channel and click the playlist button to see all the different playlists that I have from all the series I have grown from seed. Anyway, everyone, this is Rob the Backyard Gardening saying thank you for watching and happy gardening.